Rohan Dhawan here, and welcome to this brand new video in which I want to discuss why it's becoming really difficult to go and sign high ticket clients using platforms like freelancing websites or maybe third party websites where you can just go and list your product or your service, right? Now, a lot of these websites would include websites like, let's say, Upwork, Fiverr, or freelancing.com. These are all different kind of freelancing websites. And then for listing websites, you have Yelp, you have Just Dial, you have IndiaMart, and these all these different kind of platforms out there. Now, I want to discuss specifically inside of this video why, as a consultant, service provider, or basically a freelancer from anywhere in the world, it's not such a good idea to go and find high ticket clients on these platforms. And why is that the case? Well, let's talk about that right now. Now, the first thing that I want to discuss is that there's number one, rise in competition on these freelancing and listing websites. Now, if you don't already know that there has been a surge in competition on freelancing and different kind of listing websites that are out there. This means that whenever somebody posts a request for a job, okay, there are thousands of other people bidding for the same project. So let's say that somebody requires, let's say, a website, okay. For this exact same project, you would see that thousands of people all over the globe, right, all over the globe are bidding for this project. So somebody at $5, somebody at $10 an hour, somebody at, let's say, 7, somebody at 12. There are so many options that the client has access to because there's obviously so much competition from all over the world present on these websites. Okay, and they are all bidding on the same exact project. Now, this is the exact scenario, at least for freelancing sites, right? But what about, let's say listing websites particularly? What usually happens is, let's say that, somebody is searching for, again, let's say a website, okay? They go to, let's say, a listing website and they put their inquiry over here by putting, let's say, their number. And this number, once they've actually put in place, what happens is this number is forwarded to this person, okay, to 20 other people. And then 20 different kinds of other people try to contact this person for the exact same project, okay, because this number is provided to 20 other competitors, okay, of yours in that exact same location. So you're not the only person calling them if they are looking for, let's say, a website. There are so many other people as well who are trying to contact on that exact same number that you have been provided by these listing websites. Okay, this automatically creates a lot of competition and obviously giving clients so much opportunity to pick from. And again, this is not obviously good for you, and this allows the client to pick and choose the option that is, you know obviously at this point of time the client only has two options. Option number one is to pick the cheapest option or to pick the best option, okay. And by cheapest, it basically means that to make you do the work, or to basically get the work done at literally peanuts. That's how cheap, okay. And this means not leaving you with enough profit margin to literally keep things going on and actually surviving. Now, this is not an ideal scenario. The other option that obviously the client could pick is somebody with like the best of the best results, people with like years and years of experience, a lot of reviews, maybe like a high end company. And honestly, the buyers for these kind of for these companies, right, it's like the 1%. So if you cannot be the best, or if you can't be the cheapest, and if you are currently in the middle at this point of time, then these freelancing websites and these listing websites won't do you any kind of good. Why? Because what's going to end up happening is clients will, since there's so much competition, as I'm already telling you, clients will actually end up comparing your services like vegetable prices, because obviously they have so many different kind of options to pick and choose from, and this is not good for nobody. And what ends up happening is, if they are comparing your prices and your services and your advice, like vegetable prices, you either have to literally cut down on the pricing that you're offering to them and literally take the project at bare minimum pricing, or you have to be literally the best in the world in that particular domain. That is, I think, really difficult to do until and unless you're operating in a niche economy, which I'll talk about later on. But try to focus, either you are the best with years and years of experience, with a huge staff, with crores and crores or millions and millions of turnover, or maybe even billions. If that's the scenario, then why are you watching this video? And if that's not the scenario, chances are that you are somewhere in the middle, and you have to mostly get pushed towards becoming the cheapest option and taking on projects which are obviously not really worth the efforts. Okay, so that's the whole scenario when it comes to rise in competition. Now let's talk about the second problem with these listing websites and freelancing websites that could obviously uh, cause a huge issue. So since there is rise in competition, what you obviously have to do is, if you are in the middle, you have to, obviously reduce your prices and take on clients, which obviously cause headaches in the long run. So as a result, lower prices you will have to offer, and lower margins that you will have to operate your business at, when you're trying to actually work on these listing websites or these freelancing websites. Now, if you're not the best company with several years of experience or thousands and thousands of positive reviews out there, as I already told you before, you will have to accept projects that are giving you barely enough profit to survive upon. This means you usually end up attracting clients on such platforms that would either ask for, let's say, discounts, or they would try to negotiate that, oh, this other person was willing to do the job for, let's say, $12 an hour, right? Why exactly are you charging $25 an hour? This is a huge problem, because obviously, then you will have to say to them that, okay, fine, forget 25, I will try to bring my prices around $12 an hour, and even if it's not profitable for you, you will have to take on the project because you have to pay the bills. If you're working solo, probably, with a job or something like that, probably this might not be such a big concern for you. But if you're a business owner with proper employees and staff, then this is a huge issue for you, and you must realize that. Now, this is unfair to most freelancers and consultants out there, because this puts them in a position where they have no other choice but to take whatever they are getting at such dirt price rates. Now, this is obviously not acceptable at all. And for the years and years of efforts that you have put inside of your business, the years and years worth of work that you have put inside of your entire organization or entire career, it just goes to waste, because now you have to actually accept projects at dirt rate prices. Now, obviously, this is not the recommended situation. Now, what's the third problem that ends up happening when you're trying to rely on these websites? Let's talk about the third problem. Well, the third problem would be that there, since there's so much competition and you have to lower your prices and everything, and since there are so many options available on these listing websites and freelancing websites, what ends up happening is you don't end up having a USP slash differentiation factor. So if you don't have a USP and if you don't have a US differentiation factor, you are just like everybody else. So why should obviously the client pay you more money? What ends up happening is most consultants and freelancers on these freelancing websites and listing websites, what ends up happening is they appear to be generalists. And their profile contains the exact same information, and they all look like a copy paste version of each other. If you don't believe me, just literally go to any one of these freelancing websites or listing websites, and you would be able to see it yourself. And the reason is because there's only so much you can do in order to change your profile. There's literally so much you can do. You have an about section, you have review section. That's, I think, pretty much it. So to differentiate yourself, there's like not much option, and there are so many other people out there who are probably having a similar profile to yours already. And how do I know this? Because what recently happened is, I want to share with you an example. Not too long ago, I went to a freelancing website, and what ended up happening is I ended up posting for a query for a SEO project. Okay. And when I posted this query, within like 10 minutes, there were so many people, like at least like 5 to 6 people bidding for the project already. Okay. And when I actually viewed the profile of each other, as you can see in front of your screen, they literally look like a copy paste version of each other, giving no option to showcase how awesome or different they are as compared to rest of the competition. So my question to you is, let's say that in this world, okay, if everybody is like this, the only way to win the race is to be different. And if you can't be different on these platforms, if you're just like another one of these, then it becomes really difficult for you to attract high ticket clients, precisely the point that I'm trying to demonstrate over here. Now, the other issue that usually ends up happening is that bidding on these sites, or let's say calling these cold leads, okay, because obviously these are not like professional leads or some stuff like that. These are cold leads that you are not aware about. Okay, bidding on these sites and calling these cold leads is really, really time consuming. Because think about it, you as a freelancer or consultant might spend at least hours and hours looking for different kind of projects out there that, number one, suit your requirement, and number two, are available for you to actually bid on. So that would obviously take upon hours and hours. And then think about calling all these leads that you get from these listing websites. It's a big task to, number one, get them on a phone. If you call them, they're like, yeah, who are you? What do you want? I'm not even like interested or whatever. And they just think that you're just trying to annoy them. But the fact is that they are the ones who submitted the information. Now, once you call them and you try to actually convince them, they will try to negotiate prices with you. They're like, yeah, I already got like 10 calls from other vendors and your competition, because this website provided me with 20, 30 different kind of other leads. So why should I pick you? And then it becomes really difficult for you to actually haggle and then eventually get down into terms and condition where they think about working with you. So just to recap, as you can see, the first point that we covered, the problem is that there's rise in competition when you're trying to rely on these freelancing and listing websites out there. The other thing is that you will have to lower your prices and you will have to operate on lower margins when you're trying to actually bid and operate on these websites. The third thing would be that you won't be able to have a proper USP or any kind of differentiation factor out there, because literally everybody looks like a copy paste version of one another. And if you don't believe me, just go out there and see it for yourself. And then the fourth thing is, bidding on sites and cold calling these leads is absolutely time consuming and not literally worth the efforts that you have in place. Okay. I'm pretty sure at this point of time, you might be thinking, Rohan, what's the fix? How do I actually get the solution to these problems that are out there? Well, let's discuss about that. In order to win the race, if you want to actually win the race and if you want consistent high ticket projects for yourself, the number one thing that you need to do is you need to build your brand. This means that people should know you as the specialist in one particular area. And if you are not that right now, then obviously it's time to work on your marketing and your sales ability. Marketing basically means attracting people towards your brand, and sales means having the ability to convince an absolute stranger to buy from you and make sure that you're the number one choice for the exact solution that they are looking for. And that will allow you to differentiate yourself from the competition that are out there, and this will allow you to win the race. Now, in brief and in like theory, that looks like pretty cool. However, how do you actually do this? What's the step-by-step procedure behind it? Let's discuss that as well, so that you have a proper roadmap to follow right after watching this video. So, how do you actually attract clients for your business? What's the right way to do it? Well, let's get into that right now. Step number one, if you want to actually attract high ticket clients, is that you will need to become a specialist. Pretty simple. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, you cannot win the race trying to serve everybody and anybody with everything and anything. Now, listen to the statement that I just told you twice, okay? You cannot win the race trying to serve everybody and anybody with everything and anything. If you want to be different than others, then start focusing on one type of client, okay? There should be one client. I'll tell you the exact recipe to succeed, okay? There should be just one client where you're solving one problem, and that to be charging one price for one offer. That's the exact simple formula if you want to actually win the race. This allows you to become really, really good at providing the results to your specific clients and allowing you to become the best in the marketplace for that particular industry. Okay. Think about it. When you're working with one type of client only and you're solving only one problem and you're charging one price with one offer, think about how fast, effective, and efficient you would become when you're working on one procedure consistently over and over again and trying to sharpen the exact same sword with the wood. You're trying to sharpen the sword and you're just moving in one direction, being effective, being efficient, and being known for that one type of client that you're working with and providing them with one type of transformation. This will allow you to win the race rather than trying to be like everybody else and trying to compete in this huge red ocean where literally everybody out there is trying to serve everybody and not specializing in anything at all. So what I mean by this is when your client, okay, let's say, a friend of your client and your client are having a conversation, okay, they're talking about this and they're saying that, let's say this particular client asks, who is the best for dash in dash industry? And for this, if the answer is not you, then you're not actually winning. You're not winning if the answer to this question is not you, because if this is not you, then obviously what's the point of you doing so much efforts? You won't have any kind of chance surviving and you won't be known as a monopoly. Now if you try to, let's say, big in a bid in the large ocean, let's say that you're trying to become the best in digital marketing, okay, or let's say you're trying to become the best web developer, or maybe let's say you're trying to become the best interior designer or whatever. Now that's a pretty big ocean, okay? There are so many years and years worth of companies out there that are already doing and dominating the space and they have like a lot of experience. So when somebody says that who's like, let's say, best in digital marketing, the answer of you being the best can become really, really low. For example, let's say the client asks, who is the best for social media, for connecting with friends, sorry, okay, connecting with friends in the social industry. The answer to this would be, let's say, Facebook or Snapchat or something like that. Okay. The chances of you coming out there and trying to beat these companies in this huge blue ocean is pretty low. And the chances of you becoming a monopoly is pretty low as well. So why actually try to compete in this huge space when, rather than saying that, okay, I'll be competing in the whole, let's say, digital marketing space, I could actually only do, let's say, digital marketing for, let's say, lawyers. This will automatically reduce the competition out there and allow you to, let's say, become a specialist and become the monopoly in that area. So when somebody says that who is the best for doing digital marketing for lawyers, the answer of you becoming the best is pretty high because there's not a lot of competition, let's say, in that particular area. And let's say you narrow this down to, let's say, lawyers in NYC, New York City, then this even becomes very, very specific. Now, if you want to be more specific, this could be, I only do DM for, let's say, divorce lawyers in NYC. Think about it. If you can actually become the monopoly inside of this, and the answer to this is you, then obviously you will win the race. Similarly, with social media, that I was giving you an example of Facebook, right? You can't actually beat Facebook in this whole game of social networking. But let's say you create a website that is known for its privacy and privacy users. Okay, it's a lot safer. It doesn't store your information. It doesn't use this for ads and all that stuff. Now you can actually be known for becoming the best social networking website in the privacy region that makes sure that your account and everything is secure, and that will allow you to potentially even 0.01% have any kind of standing chance to compete with a giant like Facebook. So that's what I'm trying to say to you, that becoming a specialist is really really important, and you will need to do this. And until you don't do this, uh, the chances of you actually winning the race is very very difficult. And if you don't believe me, right, let's take another example into consideration. Okay, let's say that I'm a dentist. Okay, let's say I'm a dentist and I'm looking for any kind of digital marketing solution out there. Now I'm using this example for digital marketing. Again, this concept can be applied to literally anything. Okay, it can be applied to anything. I will share one last example with you after this one at the end, so that it's crystal clear the concept inside of your mind. Okay, so let's say that there's a dentist, and a dentist is looking for digital marketing solutions. Now he checks out this website that says, "Oh yeah, we do SEO, we do PPC, we do blah 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 blah, website development." The dentist sees this website and he's like, "Hmm, just like another one of those," and not interested so much. I'll think about it. I'll let you know. And then what the dentist does is he goes to another website, okay, that says, "We help dentists get more implant patients using our DM solutions." So you tell me, this dentist who's actually looking for implant patients, because that's a very costly surgery. If he gets even a few of those, he's like pretty much sorted. Who do you think the dentist will pick? This generic, kind of company out there who's trying to offer everything to everybody, or this company out there who is specifically solving the core problem that has been bothering this dentist for a long period of time? Who do you think will win the race? And if you're smart enough to realize, this company will win the race. Okay, and that's the importance of becoming a specialist. So you must realize this, and if you do not, then obviously it's going to be a big issue. Now think about it. The other advantage of becoming a specialist is, let's say that you're trying to scale. And let's say you're trying to work with, let's say, a dentist, you're trying to work with a lawyer, you're trying to work with, let's say, a chiropractor. And then for each one of them, you have to do first SEO, then you have to do PPC, then you have to like do different kind of services. At scale, you will need a lot of employees to actually do this work for you, because obviously each and every service that you will provide to each and every different kind of person out there, right, it's going to be different. It's not going to be the same. So for that you will require employees, and this will actually have lower margins. On the other hand, if you are known for one specific solution, okay, let's say I even change this DM to, let's say, using FB ads. Okay, you only do specialization in one type of area. That makes you even one specific. So this means that when you're only working with one type of client, with one type of service type, your ability to scale would be super easy, because obviously now you're just working on one type of project, one type of client, one type of service type, one type of result. It's going to be faster, effective, and efficient, and it will allow you to scale at higher margins without actually bringing on so many employees in place. So you must understand that the first thing that you need to do is you need to become a specialist. If you don't do this, then obviously, even if somebody gets you like thousands and thousands of leads out there, you won't be able to do anything, because it's going to cause you issues at scale, or it's going to cause you issues right now. So that being said, let's move on to step number 2. How do you actually attract clients? Now you're a specialist. Now what you need to do is you need to build a marketing funnel. Very simple. You need a marketing funnel in order to succeed. If you don't have a marketing funnel, then obviously you are not going to win the race, because you need a mechanism to attract people towards you, towards your brand. And if people don't know who you are, if they don't understand, what exactly you do and everything else. And if you don't have a mechanism to take absolute strangers, get them to be aware about you, and then get them on a call, then it's going to be a huge issue. Okay. So what most people do is they would like get a lead, okay, and then they would just try to call them, and then this lead may or may not answer. They might or might not be interested. They might be pretty cold, and chances of them saying no is pretty high, pretty much 95%. And the chances of deal being closed on that same call is pretty low as well. So what we do is we build a marketing funnel that allows people to be aware about who we are and why they should work with us. Very simple. So to do this, we use a concept called as low fidelity MVP funnel. Now, this funnel is pretty simple, and this allows us to scale things to the next level. And the concept looks pretty much like this. Okay. This is something that we utilize. We have an ad, we have a video, okay, we have a survey, and the option to book a call with us, and then we have a call. So basically, what ends up happening is the prospect is already aware about us before actually booking a call with us. And when they actually book a call, they have to fill out a survey first before we can actually qualify them. If this person is going to be wasting our time, there's no point talking to these people. And then once they fill out the survey, obviously they get on a call with you, and then you can talk to them and you could have a proper conversation. Whoever is the right fit for you, you can actually work with them. Now, this actually increases your chances of closing the right type of client and getting high ticket clients on a consistent basis a lot more than you actually bidding on those websites or actually just relying on third party websites or whatever. It's pretty simple, right? People will be aware about you. They will already know who you are. They have to actually fill out a proper survey and apply to actually get on a call with you. And once they actually get on a call with you, basically your selling job is already done, and you're just on the call to make them aware about a little bit more details, that this is what you do, and just help them or just hold their hands to actually go and start working with you. Because why would somebody actually apply for a call if they are not interested in the first place after watching your video explaining what exactly you do? So this will save you a lot of time, it will save you efforts, and it will allow you to charge more. So always remember this concept, okay? So you need a marketing funnel in order to succeed with this business and actually attract clients. Now that you have a marketing funnel, okay, what's the next step? What's the next step to actually get clients? Obviously, if you have a marketing funnel, you need traffic to this funnel. If you don't have traffic, then obviously, how exactly are you going to get people to be aware about who exactly you are, and how would you actually get people to this marketing funnel? So to get traffic, there are two ways to actually do this. The first option is paid ads. Pretty simple. You have platforms like Facebook, Google, YouTube, where you can actually run ads on, and you can start driving traffic to this exact marketing funnel and start generating a lot of different kind of clients and inquiries. The other option that I recommend to a lot of people who are getting started is called as earned traffic. Now this involves using email, LinkedIn, okay, different kind of approaches on Instagram, Facebook, where you actually try to build a presence online using earned sources that do not require money. Okay, these are free strategies that you can utilize. You can start making content pieces and different kind of things to lure people and seduce them towards actually going through your exact marketing funnel and eventually booking a call with you. And this is pretty straightforward and simple, and you have the ability to attract people on a consistent basis using this exact process. Now that being said, now that step number 3 is sorted out, you have traffic sorted out. Step number 4 that you have to actually worry about is working on your sales ability. So this basically means that sure, the marketing funnel did the job, the traffic part did the job. You're also now a specialist. But how do you actually convince an absolute stranger to pull out their credit card, to pull out their debit card and actually pay you money on the call? How do you actually do that? How does this exact process actually work? What do you say to them? What do you communicate with them? How do you actually demonstrate that you are the value and that your offer will actually solve their problem? If you don't know how to do that, if you're going to be stuck, if you won't be able to communicate with your client properly and show them the reason why they should choose to work with you, then obviously you're lacking on sales skills. You are unable to convey to your client the value that you have to bring to the table. And if you're lacking on sales skills, sales is such an important skill that it's going to be required in every single thing you do in life. If you have a job, you're selling all the time. If you have a business, obviously you're selling all the time. Even as a kid in college, you're trying to sell to your parents, to your teachers, to everybody. Selling is such an important skill. And if you've read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, I think it was his first job as a salesperson, and this is how important sales is. And he also recommends, the author of that book, Robert Kiyosaki, that sales is the first skill that you should learn. And if you don't know that, then obviously there are going to be bigger problems. And what most company founders do is they don't worry about sales, they don't worry about all this stuff. They actually bring out like CRM softwares, different kind of team members, and out there. Think about it, right? If you yourself haven't mastered the ability to sell to somebody else, how can you actually expect your employees to do that job? What if, let's say, you do 100 calls, or your employees do 100 calls, and they are only able to get 10 people, and they tell you, sir, the maximum, or ma'am, the maximum conversion rate is only 10%. But as the founder, if you would have experience doing sales, and let's say you have closed 50 people out of these 50, 100 calls you did, that's a 50% closing rate. So this means that you can actually tell these people and improve their ability to get them to 50%. But if you as a founder won't know how to do sales yourself, you can't expect your team to do the job for you. So that's why mastering the ability to sell is really, really important. Okay. So these are the four bulletproof points. Okay. Number one, you have to become a specialist. Number two, you have to actually have a marketing funnel. If you don't have a mechanism to pull clients consistently, then you are not growing. And most importantly, you need a consistent traffic source to pull these people towards you. And this can be done using free strategies and paid strategies. Then you need to master the ability to sell, to convince to somebody, to seduce somebody that they should actually opt in to work with you. And if you can't do that, then obviously you're lacking big time. And this is the exact step by step formula to actually win. Now, how do I know that everything that I shared with you actually works? How do I know that this is what can actually get you out of the position where you are in the pain of relying on all these websites for your success, for your growth? Okay. Well, I know this because I've worked with thousands and thousands of people till date. Specifically, I want to share with you a case study of Javed. He's a client of mine, and before we started working together, he, just like yourself, was relying on all these third-party websites. He was relying on, Upwork and Freelancer and all these different kind of freelancing websites to get projects for himself, to get clients for himself. And he was suffering from the exact issues that I discussed about before. But after working with us, I helped him build a proper brand. I helped him build the proper marketing funnel that exactly I just talked about. I also helped him improve upon his ability to do sales so that he can actually convince absolute strangers to go out and work with him. And as a result of this, he has been able to accomplish his target of making over 5 lakh rupees per month. That's approximately, he's heading towards $10,000 per month in recurring sales every single month. He also has the ability to work with companies in, let's say, Texas as well. He was able to partner with companies in Texas as well and grow his company to the next level. And now he's working and trying to expand that even further, from 10 grand to 20, 30, 50 grand, using the exact same process that I just talked about inside of this video. So I know all this from experience. And if you really want to get high ticket clients without relying on these websites, try implementing these steps that I just talked about. Try doing that, and you can see the magical difference automatically. And if you require help building and implementing upon all these steps, let's say that You need somebody to teach you and work on your sales abilities. You need a coach to show you that, Rohan, this is what's wrong with my sales calls. I need somebody to have a look at it and tell me, what exactly is going on. How can I improve my pitch? What exactly can I do? Or you need somebody to work on, let's say, your marketing funnel. You want somebody who can build it out for you using a copy paste format. Then what you can do is you can book a call with me and my team by simply clicking the link that's given below this video. It's pretty simple to access. You just have to fill out your basic information. I would love to talk to you. I would love to hear out exactly what problems you're facing with. And after that, if it looks like it's a great fit, then I'll be more than happy to tell you about my services and everything else, and how we can work together and make sure that this turns out to be an awesome journey for you, where you can start attracting high ticket clients without any of these websites ever required. So that being said, thank you so much for taking out the time and watching this video. Rohan Dhawan here. And if you like videos like this, simply just like this video. It would really mean a lot. You can also leave your valuable comments. I read all of them. I would love to know what you thought about this video and what you would like to see in the future. I would love to make content based on that. And finally, if you liked it, just feel free to subscribe as well. Hit the notification bell, and you would be able to get such videos consistently on your newsfeed whenever I publish them. Thank you so much.